Greetings once again. My name is John Gabriel, and this is the new Calculus channel. So, I have probably recorded over 20 videos on the fundamental theorem of calculus, which, by the way, is the mean value theorem, not what your moronic math professors tell you about the fundamental theorem of calculus. And I've written a very detailed article explaining why the mean value theorem is a fundamental theorem of calculus. Okay, so fools such as Gilbert Strang, Jack Heisinger, David Ulrich, and all of their ignorant colleagues have never understood and still don't understand. Okay, so correctly stated, what does the mean value theorem say? It says, given any smooth function, f prime of x, the arithmetic mean, or a more accurate term is a level magnitude of all the y-ordinates of f over the interval AB is given by this expression. Okay, so if we look at that, what it means is that if the blue function graph, the blue graph is the function f of x, and the red graph is the derivative, it means that in this interval here, there will be at least one, if not more, as you see in this case, values that represent the level magnitude of all the ordinates in this region. Okay, what is that? In what region is that? Let me show you. In this region. Okay, all the ordinates in this region. All right, understand? Okay, so the fools of mainstream academia have never understood the mean value theorem, much less calculus or mathematics or number. So that such a C exists, as you see inside here, is unremarkable. It's a property of all smooth functions. And all these theorems that are stated here are actually they're just variations of the mean value theorem. For example, the fundamental theorem of calculus is derived in one step from the mean value theorem. How? By multiplying by b minus a. Okay, the average value theorem is just the mean value theorem, right? Which is which is f prime of c divided by b minus a. In other words, the level magnitude divided by the interval. And then, of course, the mean value theorem for integrals is just a variation of the fundamental theorem of calculus. Okay. In other words, this thing here, which is f prime of c times b minus a. Okay, this last expression. So all these theorems are just different forms of the mean value theorem. And the stupid cranks in mainstream academia have never understood these things. And by the way, I have demonstrated this on numerous occasions. I've even showed them that using the new calculus how it works, and also using their bogus calculus. Okay, now the new calculus doesn't have any infinity or limits or any of that crap. It's just solid 100% geometry. Okay, now if I increase n, this is what happens. Okay, in other words, you see in the mainstream the concept of Riemann sums, which is a load of crap. Because if, for example, you had an infinite number of rectangles, they would all degenerate into lines which have no area. Okay, so Riemann was an idiot, like your mainstream math professor or your teacher. 100% pure prize idiot. Okay, and it was I, by the way, who defined area generally and volume generally. The dimwits of mainstream academia had no clue that area can be defined generally as a product of two-level magnitudes and volume as a product of three-level magnitudes. So I've also provided constructive proofs using the flawed mainstream machinery as well as the new calculus in my free An Introduction to the Single Variable New Calculus. Okay, so the very first fact that is not realized is that the f-talk is derived in one step, and I'll show you here how it's derived in one step. It's simply f prime of c multiplied by b minus a. So it's just f prime of c multiplied by b minus a. That's the fundamental theorem. Exactly, by the way. Nothing but that. Okay. So they got it wrong, and they keep getting it wrong because they're fucking morons, and they always were, and they always will be. And if you want to be a prize moron like them, then you won't listen to me, will you? Okay. So let's continue. Um, they carry on about absolute crap like the average value theorem. Well, of course, the average value theorem is going to be this integral divided by b minus a because it comes from the fundamental theorem, which comes from the mean value theorem. So, what these idiotic prize idiots of mainstream academia have done is just basically create circular theorems. In other words, one that uses the other, and again, the other that uses the one they just mentioned. So, you cannot fix incorrigibly stupid people. They're like Trump supporters. Okay. Trump supporters simply don't, you can't reason with them. They simply believe that things are the way they are and no reasoning can convince them. So, for example, when you write the integral from a to b of f prime of x, it means that there is a f prime of c such that this product here, f prime of c times b of a, is equal to f of b minus f of a. Okay, and again, I demonstrate all these things in these two applets and much, much more than this. So I would recommend that you go to my channel, type in mean value theorem, and over 20 videos will come up, okay? And so you'll see that I'm right. I don't ask you to believe me. I mean, you're an idiot if you believe me without examining my claims. I do know better than anyone else. So I encourage you to study my articles and my work. And here is a late update at which I wrote. This is also another proof that mainstream academics are clueless where calculus is concerned. They're clueless about everything. And ChatGPT is like the summary of all their bullshit knowledge. So I conduct a conversation with ChatGPT, and ChatGPT guesses every single choice wrong until it gets right to the end, which it can't guess wrong anymore because there's only one actual choice left. So it says, I apologize for any confusion. You are correct in pointing out that the statement A does not provide additional information. And it says, in contrast, um, I agree with your assessment that statement B is the more remarkable and preferred choice between the two statements. So I actually only gave it a couple of statements, I think. Let me just look over here. I mean, to make it simple, because I mean, mainstream academics are stupid. So, uh, yes, where is it now? Oh, yeah, here are the two choices that I give them. I say, which of the following two statements is remarkable? And A is the typical crap you'll find in the Encyclopedia Britannica. By the way, there's nothing more wrong than the Encyclopedia Britannica. I was very unfortunate to have first read about the mean value theorem there. It talks a load of crap about, you know, needing a profound knowledge of real numbers. Absolute bullshit. I mean, total garbage if there ever was any written. I mean, Newton, Leibniz, Cauchy, Weierstrass, none of those morons even had a clue why calculus works. Okay. And I told you, I actually figured this stuff out, people. They didn't figure it out. I did. And if you think I'm the only one who thinks this way, let me just go over here and I'll show you. Okay. I'll show you. Look, just a moment. Just a moment. So here's one of the videos where I said it. Let's look at what this guy says. It says, this guy's teaching some very profound stuff. I've looked at this video and taken it to my mentor. Okay. And he too has concluded that this guy is teaching stuff that is not of this world. Okay, not of this world. In other words, this means that aliens could know of this stuff. If anyone can show anything wrong with what he just explained, please post it here. By the way, nobody could post anything there because there is nothing wrong with it. Because we have looked at this carefully in college and we find that this man has done nothing to deserve the punishment he has received. You know what that punishment is that I've received? A complete destruction of my life by those vile dogs in the mainstream, those incredibly evil Jews and their lackeys who constantly have attacked me over the past few decades. Okay. lying about me, libeling me. In fact, sometimes I think their lackeys are worse than they are. And by the way, I'm half Jewish. On the contrary, he got things figured out. I still don't understand why people are not running to him to receive this wealth of truth. What is wrong with the world? Why do they always hate people who tell the truth but love people who lie? Well, I'm not a believer in Christ, but Christ said a lot of things that are true, didn't he? Was he loved or hated? He was hated because he spoke the truth. Okay, so I'm not going to carry on harping on the subject. Yep, that's about 10 minutes and 35 seconds. I'll put a few links in this video. And if you want to understand calculus, you have to understand what I'm saying here. Otherwise, you will not understand the most important theorem in calculus, which, by the way, is the mean value theorem. And the mean value theorem should be called the fundamental theorem of calculus. I'm John Gabriel. This is a new calculus channel. Till next time, goodbye.